Welcome my dear students to today's English second paper class for class 9-10, and today's topic tag question, assertive sentence. In our previous class we have studied assertive sentence, not assertive sentence, tag question on imperative sentence. Now today I am going to take a lesson on assertive sentence. As you know, we can make tag questions on three types of sentences: assertive sentence, imperative sentence, and exclamatory sentence. In previous class we have done imperative sentence. Now today we are going to study assertive sentence. I think this class will be enjoyable for you, and please take notes and try to make practice on this topic. Now first of all we need to know what is tag question. Generally we don't need to know this type of topic, but for better understanding we need to know what is tag question, because if we know the definition it will make us easier to solve these questions easily. So let's know what is tag question. Tag question, a type of question used at the end of a statement for turn taking in a conversation. It is just used in performing a dialogue to make it easier. So you can understand a type of question which is made at the end of a statement. As we know, we usually use interrogative sentences to make questions, but in a statement, that means assertive sentence, if we use assertive sentence to make conversation with each other, then it is used for turn taking, so that one can easily share his ideas or can know better from the other side. For this reason, it is just used in performing a dialogue to make it easier. It doesn't mean that we should use all the time tag question or in any situation. It is just used for the conversation purpose. Next, how can we form a tag question? This is the basic thing of a tag question. First of all, we learn what is tag question. Now we have to know how can we form a tag question or make a tag question. First of all, what you should do to make a tag question, we need to find out two parts of a sentence. Remember, two parts of a sentence. That means we may have a long sentence or two different type of sentence or clauses, but you have to first find out two parts, two main parts. What are they? First of all, auxiliary verb or verb. If a sentence have auxiliary verb, that will must be carry on, but if this sentence doesn't have any auxiliary verb, you have to follow or find out verb. Then you have to find out subject or person. Who is the subject, what is the subject of this sentence. Then we should follow an structure, and you have to make tag question following this structure. So what is the two parts? First of all, you have to find out auxiliary verb or verb. Then second one, you have to find out subject or person. There will be two structures of a tag question. First of all, you can clearly see the difference. Let's check out. The structure will be number one, subject plus auxiliary or verb plus object plus comma plus auxiliary plus n comma t plus pronoun of subject plus question mark. So you can see auxiliary or verb. If the statement is affirmative, then you have to make the tag question negative, or you can make negative by using just contraction, not the full form. You have to make it the short form. You cannot use full form of the not or negative. And then pronoun of subject. You cannot use directly subject. You have to use the pronoun of the subject. Next, number two structure. subject plus auxiliary plus not. You can easily see that if the statement is negative, you have to make the auxiliary verb or tag question affirmative. So if there is not, you should not use auxiliary plus n comma t. If the statement is affirmative, then you should use n comma t, auxiliary negative form. And you must remember, you cannot use subject directly. You have just use the pronoun of the subject. What is subject and what is the pronoun of the subject, you have to clearly understand and try to answer it properly, unless it will be wrong. So let's check out once again. Subject plus auxiliary plus or verb. If the statement is affirmative, you should use the negative form of auxiliary and the pronoun of the subject. And if the sentence is negative or the statement is negative, you should use only the affirmative form of auxiliary. You should not use, you cannot use negative form of auxiliary. And in both sentences, you have to use the pronoun. Now, how can we make a negative contraction? I have told that we have to use just contraction if we are going to make it negative. So how can we make it? We can make negative contraction by using auxiliary plus n comma t. If the statement is affirmative, you have to use auxiliary plus n comma t to make the contraction of the negative. Some forms like isn't, is n comma t, doesn't, aren't, didn't, haven't, wasn't. You have already known these forms, but there are two different forms we can use in our tag question. What are they? Two different forms are we know already that won't, that is from will not, and shan't, which is from shall not. These two forms are different from other contractive forms. So you should use won't when you are going to make will not, and you should use shan't, S-H-A-N, T, when you are making the negative contraction of shall not. These two are the different forms. You have to make it clear or memorize it carefully so that it doesn't make any mistakes, or you should not use them wrongly to get wrong marks or cutting marks. So let's know what are we going to have in our tag question rules. First of all, let's see two major rules. We already know the rules of tag question, but we need not to learn all these rules. Just two difficult rules or confusing rules I am going to tell you today. If the sentence has every or no plus person, every or no plus person, the tag will be plural auxiliary plus they. We generally know that every always takes singular person after it, but whenever you are going to make tag question, you have to take pronoun they instead of every plus person. That is only one defined type of rules. It is just only for the tag question. In other grammatical rules or our other grammatical rules should not follow this rule. So if I have every or no as subject with a person, then you have to use the plural form of auxiliary, and for this every or no plus person you have to take pronoun they. Then let's have 3 examples. Everybody is afraid. Aren't they? You can see there is a singular auxiliary verb is, but you have to make it plural. Aren't, whenever you go to make that question. And for everybody we have to use pronoun they. That is a quite difficult rules or confusing rules. Most of the students are likely to fall on this case. Then nobody is happy. Nobody, that is no, and the personal pronoun or person body. So nobody is happy. Again we can say is, as no means singular. No, whenever you get no as subject, it is always there singular. So nobody is. But if you make this statement as tag question, you have to take are, because no plus body, no plus person. So you have to take are instead of is, and for nobody you have to take the pronoun they. I think you are clearly understanding the point. Every student loves him. Here you can see there is no auxiliary verb in this sentence. Every student loves him. Is there any auxiliary? No. So what is the main verb of this sentence? Yes, main verb is loves. As it is singular form, it has s or es. If we take it, we should use does in that question. But as the subject has every student, so if it is every student, every plus person, so you have to take the pronoun there. For this reason, you have to make the auxiliary plural. So does, it will become don't, or verb plus es, it will be the singular form, and the plural form does is do. Does plural form is do. So your tag question answer will be don't, and for every student you have to use they. It is quite confusing, and most of the students get wrong marks or cutted marks in this rules. Let's check it again. If the sentence has every or no plus person, the tag will be plural auxiliary plus they. As we know, every plus person or every plus object or thing always takes singular verb, but in respect of tag question you have to make the verb or auxiliary plural, and you have to take pronoun they. Then take the example, everybody is afraid, so aren't they? As there is, but due to the rules you have to make it plural. Is will become are, and the pronoun will be they. Then nobody is happy, so also is become are, because the subject is nobody, no plus person, then it will take they. Final one, every student loves him. Here loves, there is a singular form. You have to make the plural do instead of does. Then as it is a affirmative sentence, you have to make it don't, and every student will become the pronoun they. I think you have clearly understand the point. Rules with every plus thing or objective. So every, if the sentence has every or no plus thing or object, not only thing or any kind of object, the tag will be auxiliary plus it or auxiliary plus nt. If it is not, this auxiliary means only the singular auxiliary. As will be the sentence will be affirmative, you have to use auxiliary plus n, t, or it is negative, you will use just auxiliary. So everything is possible as there is the subject, everything, it is singular subject, and as it has every plus thing, we will easily use it, and as it is and affirmative form, so you have to use isn't. Then nothing comes of nothing. It is a famous dialogue. Nothing comes of nothing. Here the subject is nothing. As it has no, so it is singular, and for this reason it will take it, and comes, it will take does as auxiliary, because there is no auxiliary in this sentence. If there is no auxiliary in the sentence, you have to count the main verb, and if this verb has ACS with it, then the auxiliary will be does. If it doesn't have ACS, it will take do, or if it is in past tense, it will take did. So nothing comes of nothing, does it, as it is negative, so there is no N, T. So only does it. Final one, every school is closed, as every school is closed now. So every school is closed, isn't it? There is the auxiliary is, as it is affirmative, so you have to write isn't, and every school, every plus thing or object, it will take subject it, isn't it. I think you have already got these two confusing but most important rules. Let's see. Rule 3. If a sentence has never or seldom, rarely, hardly, scarcely, few, not a few, little, not a little, if it will be a negative sentence and tag will be affirmative, then now there will be a question in your mind that what is few or not a little or not a few. Few is a negative word, but a few is not a negative word. You have to realize it clearly. Few is a negative word, but a few is not a negative word. It is an affirmative word. In the same way, little is a negative word, but a little is not a negative word. So if you see little, then it will be a negative sentence. If you see few, then it will be a negative sentence. But if it has a few or a little, it will not be a negative sentence. It will be an affirmative sentence. Now, these words bears negative sense, but they looks like affirmative. So you have to memorize these words. And if you find these words in any sentence, you have to make tag question affirmative. Just like that, he has few books. You can see it has few. So there is only few. So you can use has or does. There is another confusion. If I use has or does, if the sentence bears has or have, so you can use both of them. If you use has, it will be a British rule, and if you use does, it will be American rule. So there is no mark cutting system or cutting mark you will get. So he has few books, as we learned. Few is a negative sentence, negative word. So there is no NT or no negative contraction. Just use has or does. Then I seldom went there. There is seldom. Seldom is also a negative word. So I seldom went there, as the verb bears past indefinite tense or past form of the verb. So we use did as an auxiliary. And as it has seldom, there is no contraction of negative. So the answer is did I. So I seldom went there, did I? He has few books, has or does he? So I think you have got total idea of this confusing 3 rows. There are some more rows, you have to read them out and take proper realization to get more marks. Now I am going to give you HW. I will give you 6 or 7 sentences on these rows. You have to write out or solve it in your answer paper or khata and have to show me your homework. First one, a man has visited my house. Second, every flower is beautiful. Third, none can be perfect. Fourth, he had completed the work. Fifth, I hardly found him present. Sixth, Labib has a few friends. Seventh, every mother loves her child. So I think these 7 sentences covers all the rules we have learned already. So you have to write out these sentences in your khata and answer them properly and show me in your group so that I can make these things revised again. So that's all for today. Stay home, stay safe and keep practicing all these rules.